going to ask you around like about 26, 27 questions, if that's all right with you.
Yes, sir.
You ready to start? When and where were you born?
I was born in 1931, and I was born in a house that doesn't exist anymore, but it's where you live is right here.
Yeah.
And there was a house down here that had an explosion.
Oh.
Were you around then? That's where I was born, in that house. Okay.
What do you remember about your early childhood?
I remember I had a very nice childhood. We never were hungry. We were always warm, and we always had warm clothing. And my mother and father, my mother especially, made us listen.
What was the occupation of your mother and father?
My mother, when I was growing up, just a little person, Mom stayed home with us. Dad worked in the woods, and later, Mom taught school.
Describe the house that you grew up in.
The house I grew up in was a regular country house, I guess. It had two bedrooms upstairs. We didn't have a bathroom. Not in those days.
Oh.
We had an outside toilet, summer and winter. And we had, as we called it, a front room. That was the good room. We had a kitchen and a nice living room and a pantry.
What was it like during the holidays?
The holidays, just another day. Except Christmas, of course.
What were your usual meals?
In the morning, we would have porridge. At noontime, we would have a cooked meal. And supper time, we'd have a cooked meal too, because Dad worked in the woods, and when he came home at supper time, he was hungry. He had to have something to eat, so we just had probably what we had at lunchtime. We had warmed up for supper.
What were your jobs around the house?
Didn't do much. Not when we were little. Probably didn't do much when we were bigger either. I don't remember doing too much. I think we might have helped Mom a little bit. I'm not sure.
How did you spend your free time?
Free time? Well, we like in the summertime, we used to go swimming up here to the lake, and we would play ball. We used to have ball games down the house that used to be the school down by this side of the post office. I don't know if you know. The Fianders lived in there.
Yes.
There was a field there right next, and that's we played ball there. And then in the wintertime, we would go skating. Wherever we could find a patch of ice, we'd go skating. Out front here, there was ice, wasn't very thick, but we skated out here. We skated over by the parsonage and back a bog back behind where you live. Yeah, so that's about it.
What was your schooling like?
Oh, we had good school. We had in the primary department. Well, when I started out school, I had a teacher taught all of us, grade primary to grade 9, I think it was at the time, and I was so smart. She put me in grade 1 to start out with, because my mom had taught me before I went to school. Anyway, we had a good school.
What is the first car that you remember liking?
Red.
Did you have a radio or television?
Are you kidding? No, we didn't.
Oh.
No. We didn't even have a telephone. Not till later.
What is your favorite kind of music?
Soft music. I guess that's all.
When did you get married and how old were you?
Doug and I were married in 1959, and I was 31? 28, okay.
When did you start a family?
I beg pardon?
When did you start a family?
We married in October, and our first son was born a year from the next. Steve was born Not awful, can't think.
Steve was born January the 4th,
January, yeah.
1961. So
14 or 15 months after we were married, he was born. And then we had another son too, that he came along a couple of years later.
Did you play any sports?
Played ball, but not anything serious.
Was life easier or harder when you were younger?
I beg your pardon?
Was life easier or harder when you were younger?
Well, we didn't think it was harder. We thought we had a good life.
Who were your heroes or role models?
Well, didn't put much thought in that because we had no radio or anything to know what went on in the world. We got a newspaper, but wasn't much in that, so we weren't too concerned about world matters.
What was your favorite meals? Or what is your favorite meals?
Favorite meal? Corned beef and cabbage.
What were the big news stories that you remember?
Big news stories, when I remember, we used to have blackouts when they had air raid sirens or air raid warnings or whatever they were. And the lady up, do you know where Stewie lives? The house that goes up the little slope there. Up there.
Oh.
That's where the lady lived who used to get all the calls if there were air raid warnings. And everybody had to, if they had outside lights, if they didn't have covers over them, they had to shut them off. All the lights had to go out in the houses because it was a warning. That's
Who is the first Prime Minister that you remember?
Minister. Trudeau. Pierre Elliott.
no, that's
Huh?
Baptist minister.
Oh, Baptist minister? Oh. Ooh. I guess. I don't remember who our first one. That was a long time ago. I can't remember.
Do you have any friends that you've had since childhood?
My friends that I had in childhood are all dead except Muriel. Muriel lived here.
What do you remember about your grandparents?
I had nice grandparents. I did so. Well, one of my grandparents lived down here right before you cross over the bridge. There was a house there. And my grandmother and grandfather lived there. And I remember going home from school at noontime, and if it was cold out, I would come from this school over here, I guess it was, over to Graham Freeman's so I could have lunch over there, and I wouldn't have to walk all the way up home. Because we had no buses, you know. We had no buses.
Oh. If you could change one thing in the world, what would that be?
Peace. Peace in the world.
How has the world changed in your lifetime?
How has it changed? Changed an awful lot. Some things don't ever change, but it's like we live in Greenfield now, and we don't know the course of the people. People move in and move out, and I guess that's what the big change is. But if we lived in a city, we wouldn't know anybody. We're not even the next door neighbor, so we'd like it here.
Do you know what your parents exactly got married?
My parents got married. Christina. Just a minute.
Got a picture of him upstairs there.
Sure, picture. They got married on October 23rd in 1928. No. Yes, October to 1928. That's the picture. Times have changed, haven't they? Yeah, they were good parents. They were good parents.
Do you have any advice for young people today?
Yes, have more respect for your elders. That's it. Be kind to your elders.
And that's the interview.
That's it? Wow.